Hello, everybody. Hey, it's Wednesday night. Come on in. Let me know where you're coming in from. It's good to see all of you. I get excited, of course, about Wednesday nights, and I'm so happy that you're with us on tonight. And we're giving God praise for your being here on this Wednesday night. It's going to be very good session tonight, and I am excited about you being here. So as you're coming in, please let me know what state you're coming, where you're viewing the live stream from tonight. Welcome those of you on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Also welcome those of you that are on dlmartin.org. We're excited again about tonight, and we're praising God for his goodness and what he's going to do and what he's doing during this session. Our prayers certainly go out to the Graham family. We're praying for them, praying for them in the loss of such a tremendous icon in the body of Christ, and when it comes to the work of the Lord, and that is the late Dr. Billy Graham. And so we're praying for them, and we're praying for the family, and we're praying God's favor and best upon them, and I know God's going to bless them as we are praying for them on tonight. And so again, as you're coming in, please let me know where you're coming in from, where you're checking in from. Let me know tonight. And as we're sharing, I believe the Lord is going to bless you and bless us as we are dealing tonight. Thank you so much. I see you coming in. Bullock, God bless you. I see my cousin Melissa here. God bless you. It's just good to have you here tonight. Now, I'm not going to prolong tonight. I'm not going to be real long, but I'm going to share some things with you that I believe will bless you. And of course, we always do a little maintenance and get things going and get things together. And so we want to do that tonight and just put things in order and put things in place. Please do me a favor as you're coming in tonight. Please, let's interact tonight. I want to share with you. I want you to share with me. Then also want you to share this with someone. Just hit the share button, share it with someone that's on your list, on your thing, and let them know that we are here tonight. We are streaming. Again, welcome everyone from Periscope, from YouTube, from dlmartin.org. We welcome you tonight, certainly, to our live stream. And we're going to get started. We're going to get going here on tonight. And I'm excited again. Now, don't forget what I need you to do. I need you to share it. I need you to put it out tonight. And then those of you that will watch it later, I need you to share, because I believe what we're going to share tonight is going to be very informative. It's going to bless someone, especially someone that you know the Lord has been dealing with you and things are happening and you're believing God for great things to take place. And so I believe that it's going to bless you certainly on tonight. Well, let's get started tonight as you are here. God bless you, Marietta. I see Valerie Winston. Whoever is watching tonight, plug in. I know you're watching, so plug in, interact with me. See Brittany, interact with me tonight. Type where you are, again, viewing from. Wherever you're viewing from, please do that. Type in your state and type in tonight whether you're a pastor or whether you are an evangelist or whatever, business owner, whatever. I want you to type in tonight, and we're going to get started. We're on our way to starting on tonight. Well, let's talk tonight. Let's get started tonight. Let's get moving on this. I want to talk to you tonight about the 5 reasons not to share your dream with everyone. 5 reasons not to share your dreams with everyone. You know, I know all of us have things that either the Lord has showed us or things that is in our spirits, things that we believe that God has told us to do, or things that maybe he told us to do years ago or he showed us years ago, and we're believing God to bring those things to pass, and we're believing to fulfill our assignment in those things that God has given us to do. But I want you to understand that when we start looking, there's a very familiar passage in the Bible in Genesis chapter 37 that deals with Joseph being a young man. And the Bible gives us his age of 17 years old. and how Israel, his father Jacob, or Israel, loved him more than all his children because he was the son of his old age. And because the brethren looked and knew that he loved Joseph more than them because he was the son of his old age, the Bible said they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. And you know, today in our church world today, no matter what setting it may be, no matter what denomination or whatever it may be, people always use the saying and talk about my haters. People hate me. I got haters. Well, I don't like to use that word that much because when you really think about it, it says something about us if we have to use that all the time to describe people hating us. When we think about it, everyone is not hating on you. Everyone does not hate you. And so you have to understand that. But we talk about our haters. And you know, you may have some, all of us may have some, but just to highlight haters every time you got to preach or speak, it really doesn't make that much sense. But when you think about it, I want to share this with you before we get into the 5 things. Understand that the brethren did not hate Joseph at first because of his dream. There was not hatred because he dreamed the dream. The hatred that went on with Joseph at first was because his father, Israel, loved him more than his brethren. And he loved him because he was the son of his old age. And because he was the son of his old age, that's when they begin to look and say, we see he loves Joseph a little bit more. So they start hating him. Then Joseph had a dream. And when he told the dream, then the Bible said they hated him yet the more. But initially, they didn't hate him because of his dream. They hated him because his father showed love, or what we would have probably called in our day favoritism toward Joseph, made him a coat of many colors because he was the son of his old age. And so somewhat, if you want to think about it, the father is more or less responsible for the hatred that went toward Joseph at the beginning because he showed some type of favoritism or love to him. That's what the Bible said. He loved Joseph more than the other brethren because he was the son of his old age. And so when we start using that term, my haters and stuff, we have to be careful that we don't use it in the wrong place and use it out of context, because a lot of times who we're calling and people that we're saying are haters are not really haters. Some people are, but some people are not. That's not what they're about. They could care less what you got going on and what's happening with you. But we have got that term and that terminology, and we started using it a lot. And so we have to be careful when we start using that. So I wanted to bring that out because I think so often we overemphasize that word of hater. My people are hating on me. That really seems to make us feel that we're more important sometimes than what we are, because sometimes we are really not that important. Hey, how you doing? We're really not that important. So let's get into these 5 things. And I'm going to go through them tonight, and I want to share with you. I believe it'll bless you. If it blesses you, let me know in the comments. Let me know somewhere that this is blessing you, and I know you're going to get it. Number 1, one of the reasons you do not want to share your dream with everyone is it is the wrong time sometimes to share your dream. The reason being it being the wrong time is sometimes God has given you the dream and he's not giving it to you in whole. He haven't told us everything that he's going to do. He may have showed us in part. We prophesy, we know in part. Sometimes he don't show us everything. He shows us a part of a thing. And so sometimes if he shows you a part of a thing and you don't know the whole thing, what happens is we jump in and we start sharing things that he's only showed us a part of. We don't have enough to really share with everyone at this time. And so sometimes our timing is wrong. It's the wrong time to share. It's not that you shouldn't share it eventually, but right now it may be the wrong time for you to share it at this moment. And especially, it's almost like going, if you had partial information about something. If someone came to you and gave you something to take back to someone, or gave you information and they didn't give you the whole story, they gave you part of it, and you ran back and told the part of it, then you're going to cause some type of chaos. Why? Because you didn't have the whole story. You had part of the story, but you didn't have it in its totality. So sometimes you've got to understand when God gives you dreams or vision or whatever, you've got to understand that sometimes he gives it to you in part. You don't know the whole thing. And so when you go to run and tell it, you're not telling it in its entirety. You're not telling it in its totality. You are telling it just enough of what you had or what you've seen or what he showed you. So sometimes it is the wrong time to share certain things about what God has told you that he wants to do, what he's going to do for you. You only know about it part of the way. And sometimes giving a partial information is not good. Write the vision, make it plain. You cannot write something that you do not have the whole thing on it as of yet. You make and put it together and piece it and connect the dots as he gives you more. And then he release you and give you the right time to give it. Then that way you can do it. But sometimes it's just not the right time to display it or the right time to share it. So we have to look at that. So number one, it is the wrong time to share the dream. So take note of that. It's the wrong time to share the dream. Number two, when you share your dream with people at the wrong time, sometimes they will talk you out of your dream. Number two, people will talk you out of your dream or try to talk you out of your dream, especially if you're sharing it sometimes in whole or sometimes in the partial. They will try to talk you out of your dream. That's why you cannot tell everybody your dreams. You can't tell everyone about what God is getting ready to do. You can't tell all your relatives. You can't tell your uncle, your family, your sister, your brother. Sometimes even as pastors and those in ministry, we can't always share with those around us what God is saying right then. Sometimes we have to wait, and as we see maturity come in them, or as we see things happening, then we can sort of share, because people will try their best to talk you out of your dreams. They'll tell you that it's never been done before. No one's ever done that. And it all depends on where you are, where I am spiritually, and where we are in faith, whether we will be talked out of our dreams and what God has told us. People will tell you, you can't start no business. No one in our family has ever done that. You can't go to college. No one's ever done that. Well, maybe God wants to make you a pace setter. Maybe he wants to let you be the first to do a particular thing. But because sometimes we have allowed people and we've told them, and now they're talking in a negative manner to talk us out of our dreams, to talk us out of the vision. Sometimes if we think about it, and many of you probably listening at me right now can attest to the fact, some things that you probably should have done, some things that the Lord told you to do, you have not done them simply for the fact that someone came along and talked you out of it. Someone was very negative. They said to you, you can't do that, don't do it. And they talk you out of it. And here you are, a few years down the road, still have not even started in the direction. And God he keeps telling you and keeps showing you about what he wants to do through you, with you, and you have not done it simply because they keep talking you out of it. And I want to tell you, you've got people that will talk you out of it. And your faith has to be strong. That's why you can't share it with everyone. You got to know the people around you. You have to know the people in your circle. You got to know the people that are near you that may possibly want to talk you out of something that God has given. So you can't share that dream and that vision with everyone, because somebody's going to try their best to talk you out of it. They're going to try their best to say, you can't do it. It's never been done. Don't try it. And it's just one of those things. I know people that are still sitting on dreams, still sitting on visions, still sitting on things that they should have done possibly 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, but they allowed someone to talk negative about what they were doing, about what they were sharing with them, and therefore they have not done it at all. And so we've got to be able to say to ourselves that I cannot allow people to talk me out of it. So there's some things I must hold until I'm already in the process of things happening. Sometimes you can't tell folk about what God told you to do about school until you already enrolled and in the classroom. Sometimes you can't tell folk about the business that they telling you you can't start. You got to start the business and invite them over to let them see that you've already got started. Sometimes you got to do it because you can't allow people to talk you out of it. So number two, people will try to talk you out of your dream. So you can't share it with everybody. Well, here we go. Number three, sometimes when you share your dreams with others to prove to them that God really told you to do this, you will step outside of the timing of God. Sometimes we'll step outside of the timing of God, trying to prove to somebody else that God really gave me that dream. He really gave me that vision. That's really what he told me. For instance, if God told you that you're going to be a pastor, if he told you that I'm going to let you pastor and you're going to pastor not only one church, two churches, many churches. He may tell you you're going to pastor a mega church. Your church is going to be people who come from around the world. Well, sometimes if he tell you that on Monday, if you share it sometimes with people, they'll be like, oh, okay. And sometimes if it takes 6 months and we haven't seen anything, sometimes we'll go and get a building that maybe God didn't tell us to get yet, but we'll go get a building and go get some chairs, get us a microphone, a PA system, and get us a set of drums, and get us an organ, and put a flyer out and tell them this is our opening service, and we're going to open on the whatever date, and we will start, and a few people come, and then, churches, how churches are sometimes, you can have those up things, and then you can have those things that do like this, and then you have those things that level off where nothing's really going on. And so sometimes what happens is, now, to prove to people that God really told you were going to do that, now you're having these services. You got this building. You got this expense. You've got all this stuff. So now you got it. So here we go. So now here you are 2 years in and you're struggling. You're stressing out and you're saying, Lord, I know you told me people are going to come from around the world. People are going to come and I haven't seen it yet. Well, let's look at that, because even though he did say that, even though he did tell you that, he didn't tell you it was going to happen next month. He didn't tell you it's going to happen the next day. He told you he was going to do it. He was just sort of sharing with you in the dream or the vision what he was going to do for you. And so what happened is now you got that struggle. And what God told you, he didn't say it for you to act on it right then, but he was letting you know that this is what I'm going to do for you. It's a process. I'm going to put some things in place. I'm going to put some people in place. I'm going to put some things where they need to be. And I'm going to bring you to this place. And so what happens sometimes is, because we want to prove to people that God really told me that, we go stepping outside of the timing of God. And how many would have to be honest? You may not say nothing on here, but just shake your head while you're looking at me and be honest. Sometimes you stepped out of the timing of God, doing stuff that God did say, but he didn't tell you to do it right then. It's not when he told you to do it. He may have told you to do it, but he didn't tell you to do it today. He didn't tell you to do it tomorrow. And so you trying to prove to people that you heard God. Now you are struggling and doing things. Already you're probably going to have a struggle somewhat, but now you're struggling trying to prove to everybody that God really told you what he told you. So I want to tell you, sometimes you can't share the vision because it sometimes works on us that we think we got to prove something. Now, let me be honest with you. I can talk about this from experience, because that time God had told me something years ago in ministry. And when he told me, I said, I know that's God. And I went to do it and it turned out okay. And sometimes I'm like, Lord, I know you told me to do it. And then sometimes God will just get your attention and say, I did tell you that's what I was going to do, but I didn't tell you to do it now. That's why it's important not only for us to hear the voice of God, but stop trying to prove to everyone that you heard from God. And when God tells you to do it, he'll put the right people in place for things to happen for you. I'm here to tell you, when God gives you something, he'll put people in place, and he'll start some people, he'll send them to you. There's some people for your vision, for your dream that God has already set. There's some people right now that God has already put in place that you probably haven't even met yet. Y'all haven't even ran across each other, because God knows the timing for them to run across you. He knows when y'all supposed to meet. He knows when things are supposed to happen, and he knows how those things are supposed to happen. And so you can always share your dream and your vision in that way. You've got to wait on the timing of God. So that's number 3. And that is, you can't always share, because sometimes it works on us that we want to prove to folk that God really said something to us. And so we'll do everything we can, because, we like folk to feel that God spoke, and we like to impress people and say, well, the Lord really did speak to me. But if it's God, it'll happen. If it's God, it'll come to pass. If it's God, things will happen for you. And so wait on God when it comes to that. Number 4, and I told you I'm not rushing through, but I'm going through these quickly tonight. Number 4, another reason not to share your dream with people is some people will take your dream and try to make it their own. Some folk would take your vision and try to make it their own. I mean, they will actually get it, and you share it in detail with them, and next thing you know, you see a flyer, you see a commercial, you see something. They've taken the whole thing, and now they're doing everything that you told them, and you're standing there looking at them saying, really? But that's what people will do. They will actually take your dreams and your vision, and if you share it with them, sometimes people will use it and make it their own. They'll start doing things. How many times have you seen people take people's ideas and things and that they've shared with people, and next thing you know, they have rolled it out as their own God-given idea, as though God gave this to me. It was the Lord spoke to me. And sometimes, people are not telling the truth, but some things you got to hold. You can't always share everything. And if you're going to share, you don't share everything about the dream or the vision with everyone. I learned this a long time ago, and sometimes in writing proposals and stuff, that sometimes people say, we want you to write the vision. We want you to write the things down and turn it into us so we can just see what your goals and projectives and objectives are and all that stuff. And so you do it. Then next thing you know, you see it, and it's laid out on the table as though this is something the Lord just gave them. And you go back and pull your papers out, and you're looking at them like, really? Now, I know I just turned that in, and I just shared that with you all. How did you get this? And so people will steal your ideas. They'll steal your dreams. So you can't always share things with everyone. You can't share things. Some things when you do it, they just got to see it being done. You can't wait. You can't just throw it out there and tell everyone this is what I'm doing, because people will do it, and you'll think and be like, really? You'll set a theme. You'll find people to use your theme. They'll use whatever it is. People will come right along, and what you told them you were going to do in ministry, and you felt what God had given you. Next thing you know, they got it, and they rolling with it. And it's nothing, I guess, wrong with that. But sometimes the way they roll it out, they don't give you credit. They don't say you said it. They make it seem like this is just something the Lord gave to them, or they were just sitting down one day and it just popped in the top of their head and it came to them. Well, you got to understand that that's sometimes how people are, and those are the things that people will do. And so I want to say to you that people will steal your ideas. They'll steal things, and you got to watch. I'll say this. I won't say when it was. I won't tell you what it was. I won't even tell you who it was. But I remember one time I was preaching, and I know the Lord gives, many different messages and stuff. But there's sometimes God gives you a message that you haven't heard before. You ain't heard nobody preach it. You ain't heard nobody say it. And sometimes He gives you a in-depthness of the word, and you can see stuff that others, just don't see in the scripture sometimes. And I'll never forget, I was preaching a message, and I preached this message on a Sunday morning at my church. And it was really before some of this. We were not doing live stream during the time. We were doing, of course, YouTube, and that's when you could only do maybe about 10 minutes of it. And then we did a broadcast where we did a broadcast that was supposed to be shown nationwide. And at the end of the broadcast, I was the speaker. And so they gave me about 7 to 8 minutes to speak. And so I spoke, and I won't tell you the message because I don't want to go there. But I spoke a message. And so one day I was sitting here at home and watching TV, Christian television, and somebody came on the broadcast, And then all of a sudden they started talking, and then I heard this, and they caught my attention right away. And then when they announced the message, I stopped in my tracks. I was like, really? And I went back because I wanted to see what date they did the message, and I wanted to see what date I had preached the message. And I preached the message probably almost a year prior, and then the other time I preached it at one other time, just preached it. And so I was talking to a pastor friend of mine, and I was sharing that with him, and then he explained to me, because he knew what had happened. He said, he explained to me what happened. He said, and that was indeed your word. But when you hear it and hear the other person preach it, it seems like this was something that they really studied on, and this was something they really got and preached, and the Lord really gave it to them. And because they're a higher profile person than I am, if I preached it now, people will think I got the message from them, when I really didn't. I really got the message from God. And so sometimes people will steal your stuff. So sometimes you can't always share stuff. Sometimes that is the danger of even social media. Not that we copyright a message or whatever, copyright the word, if you want to say that. But people will be, and you hear your stuff, and you know that some you preached or something that you projected as you were sharing in some of these live sessions or whatever. Then you hear other people, and next thing you know, they got 9 points, and probably 7 of them are points that you made on the live. And so you have to understand that sometimes that's the way it happens. But you got to be careful when you do that, because people will steal your ideas and make them their own. So you have to be prepared for that. Let's just be honest. It happens, and it happens everywhere. There are people that have made movies, and it was their idea. They turned a script in, and when they turn it in to try to get a movie made, someone else came along and maybe tweaked it a little bit and made it their own, and then they end up in court trying to prove that I wrote it first. But that's the way things happen, and that happens all the time. And so let's just deal with it. You can't share everything. All right, number 5, and I'm getting there. We're moving real good tonight. Number 5, everyone is not mature enough to deal with your dream. Everyone's not mature enough to deal with your dream or your vision. You have to understand that just because people look mature doesn't mean they are mature. Just because you got a group of people around us that hang around us don't mean they're mature enough to handle our dream or our visions. They're not mature enough to handle what we're telling them and what we are saying. And so you have to be very cautious and prayerful, should I say, that when you're sharing things, that with mature people. Everyone cannot handle what you're talking about. Everyone cannot handle what you're saying. I know it seems like they can, but everyone cannot handle what you're saying. They can't handle what you're talking about. So you've got to hang with mature people. It's got to be something where people are mature to handle what you're saying. And so many of us, what has happened is you have to understand, if people are not mature enough to handle your dream or your vision and you're sharing it, they can't see. Everyone can't see what you see. Everyone can't see what you're looking at. They can't see how you see. They can't see that. You remember in the Bible when God was giving them victory, and when he looked, I believe it was Elijah, someone that where they went in and they had the enemy was on the hill. They were on the hill looking at the enemy, and they said, "Look, we don't know. We can't beat them." And he had to pray and say, "Lord, open their eyes and let them see that there are more that be for us than are with them." Sometimes people can't see it. They don't see things, and they can't see things. And when they can't see it, I'm just here to tell you they can't see it. And if they can't see it, you sharing it with them is not going to make them see it, because they're not mature enough. And so if they're not mature enough, sometimes other people that would buy in and want to be a part of the dream or the vision will get talked out of it, because the people you're sharing it with are not mature enough to handle what you're saying. And so you've got to understand, everybody is not mature enough to handle it. Everyone's not mature enough to see what you see. I give you 2 examples at church. At our church, I wanted to take the walls out at church, and I wanted to expand the sanctuary a couple of years ago. So I called some people in that I knew that did that type of work. I called some people in that I knew could do it. And when I called them in and they came in to look at it, I remember them saying to me, "It's no way we can do this. This wall can't come down. You can't take the wall down." And I kept asking. They said, "No, you can't do it. Over all of our years of experience, there's no way you can take this wall down." And so I said, okay. And so they kept on and they left. And I kept saying to myself, I know we can take this wall down. I know we can do it. I know it's possible. I know what they've said, but we really can do this. And so there was a young man that came that builds sets for movies and for people that do movies. He builds those big structures. And so I had him to come over, not to look at the wall. I had him to come over to look at our PA system because I wanted to do a different thing with the PA system. So when he came, I said to him, I said, his name is Cedric. I said, "Cedric," I said, "I want you to look at something. Look at this wall. Can this wall come down?" And he said to me, looked at it, he said, "It can come down." And he said, "And we have to do some things just to make sure, but I can hook it and we can get it down." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Because I had some people come over. They said, there's no way this wall can come down." Cedric said to me, "Pastor Martin, we can get the wall down. We can do it. This wall can come down." And so I said, "All right, well, let's look at it." So what happened was he came back. He went up in the ceiling. And when he went up there, he said, I have to build something. He told me everything he needed. And we gave him the money. He got it. And he came back in about 2 weeks. And he went up and he measured things and put things together. Then he went in and he started building this thing, 2 things outside. He built it, went back up, measured again, came back down, constructed the whole thing in the parking lot, took it apart, took it up piece by piece, and put it in the ceiling and did things, and then did some stuff and pulled everything off the wall. And then he gave me, and I got a picture of it, I'll show it to you one day. Then he gave me a big old sludge hammer and a hard hat and said, "Now you can hit the wall." And I beat the wall and we took that wall down completely. So he did that and he let me know. But now everyone else that I had brought, nobody could see that happening, but he saw it happening because that's what he does. He builds those things. So he saw the wall coming down. So I say to you again, you can't share your dream and vision with everyone. Everyone's not mature enough. Some people can't see it, therefore they can't handle it. So therefore they'll tell other people, you shouldn't go with this because it's not going to work anyway. So he saw it coming down. Then there was another incident where we were have a door, glass door in the back of the church. When we cut the door, it was just an open space and there was no door there. And so I called out professional door people. When I say professional door people, I mean people that actually advertise on TV. They put in doors professionally. So I called them in and met them at the church, and I said to them, "Can we? I want to put a door right here, a glass door in here." And the man looked at me and he looked at the door. He said, "Pastor Martin, there's no way that can be done." And I said, "But I mean, you all do doors. You're telling me that we can't do this? There's no way this door can be put in?" He said, "No, we can't put a door in. A door, it can't go in here. No way." Now, mind you, again, I'm talking to professionals. I'm not talking to somebody off the street. I'm not talking to someone that this is not what they do. This is what they do for a living every day. They put doors in buildings. They put doors in businesses. They put doors in all kind of professional stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, I know they can get it done. He said, "There's no way it can be done." And so I went on. It was a young man that came to our church and he was doing some work. His name was Aaron. And when Aaron came by, I said, "Aaron, I want to put a glass door here. Can it be done?" Now notice, Aaron is an independent contractor. He doesn't work for a company. He doesn't work for anybody. He works for himself. And he said, "Yeah, I can put one in." So we got in the car. We went to the place that sell doors. and we picked out a glass door where you open both doors. We picked it out, and he said, if you pay for it, I get it put in. And so the next day, I think he came in, and he stopped and got a Mexican, I believe it was, a worker to help him out. I don't even know if the guy spoke English. I don't even know if he did. But he got a Mexican to come in, and Aaron put that door in. And it's in the day, working perfectly fine, adjusted it. But the door people said it couldn't be done. But Aaron, an independent contractor, someone that don't have an office, he don't have no trucks and spaces, but he came put that door in because he said it can be done. Not only did he put the door in, but he went and we went to the store and he bought some other pieces and put a design around the door that and when you look at it, it looks like it came with the door. But it was something that he saw and he designed it right there. So I say to you that sometimes you can't share your dreams with people that are not mature, people that can't see what you see. Just because you see it doesn't mean others can see it. Just because you see a great ministry, just because you see a great business, just because you see something great happening, don't mean other people can see it. It just doesn't mean they may not be able to see it at all. And sometimes even the people in our group may not be able to see it. That's why sometimes you got to be careful. You got to see who's mature enough to handle it because they may not be able to see it. God may show you something, or you may get something in your spirit that we're going to make a move. We're going to do something here at church. We're going to expand. We're going to do whatever, whether it's Sunday school, whether it's evangelism, whatever it may be. You said we're going to get it done. And they say, well, we can't do it. There ain't no way that can be done. And they go and tell other people, I don't know what's wrong with pastor. I don't know with this person, whatever field you're in. I don't know what's wrong with them. I just think they lost their mind. Ain't no way they can do that. So you have to understand when people start talking like that, other people are affected by that. So if you're going to share your dream, share it with people that are mature enough to say, pastor, or whatever your position is, I totally don't see the whole thing, but I trust you and I sort of see what you're talking about. And so what we're going to do as you unfold it, we're going to work and we're going to make it happen. Now, when you get some people like that, then you know you're on your way. And so you have to be careful when you're dealing with your dream that you don't tell it to people that are not mature, people that cannot see it. Sometimes you have to hold it and share it a little bit at a time, because if you share it right off, some people are definitely going to mess it up and make it feel and hinder some things that are happening for you. So you have to be able to share your dream a little bit at a time. So I want to say to you, as God is dealing with you, as God is moving for you, there's some people you can't share your dream with. I'm sorry. Some people, when they look up, they just got to see it manifesting. They got to see that it's already happening. They got to see that it's already done. Some people you can't share. Some people got to give you the release to share it with. But some people got to see it already done. You can't, there's no way, nowhere in the world you can share it with everyone. Because you're going to share it with some people, they'll talk folk out of it. I want to say to you pastors, sometimes you share your vision, your dream with the wrong people, and you wonder why it's taking people a long time to grasp it. They heard you the first time, but you got some people working undercover and in the undercurrent that they're talking to folks saying, ain't no way we can do that. We don't have enough money to do it. We don't have enough people to do it. And Pastor, I don't know if he really praying about it. And as for me and my family, we're not gonna go with it. We just gonna and when you get people start doing that, then you start saying, well, what's going on? Because sometimes you shared it with the wrong people. You shared your dreams, your vision with the wrong people. You cannot share it with everyone, no matter what it is. There's some things God has shared with me. I don't share with anyone. I keep it. There's some things I know when it's the time, we just unveil it. Ain't no going through. Just take the curtain off. Let's go. It's time to go. And some people have to see things already happening sometimes before they grab a hold to it anyway. And so some things you got to already be doing. Like I said before, sometimes you can't tell people I'm going back to school. Because they were like, child, you know you too old to go back to school. Sometimes you got to just, when they call you, say, I can't talk to you right now, I'm in class. So people said, I'm going to start a business. Child, what you know about business? You ain't got no, sometimes you got to invite them to the shop and let them see you already got customers. Or you got to send them to your website and let them see you already got stuff going on. So you can't wait and wait for, how would I want to put this? You can't wait for the approval of everyone for your dreams and for your visions. Everyone's not going to approve them. Everyone's not going to like them. Everyone's not going to agree with them. And you can't wait for them. Many times we are hooked because we're waiting on people's approval on social media. As I'm doing this, there's those of you that are watching, some that are watching. I know you're watching, some that I don't know you're watching, but you're watching. Some that make comments, some that don't, some that give thumbs up hard, some that don't. And I can't base what I'm doing on whether you approve it or not, because I get responses. So I know when I get emails and stuff, somebody's being helped by it. Even though sometimes I was somewhere the other day, someone said, I watch you every Wednesday night. I said, really? I did a session Saturday somewhere. A lady said, I watch you every Wednesday night. I've never known, they've never made a comment. I've never known they were even watching me, but they watch it. And so you got to understand, they watching on these different platforms. But my success or me doing what God has called me to do is not predicated on whether I get thumbs up or approvals or hearts on Periscope and all that. No, or whether I look down and you got 500 or 600 people viewing. That's not predicated on that, because God has a way of taking these things and others will see them later at the right time they need to see it and be blessed because they looked at it. And so I want to tell you, you can't share your dream and vision with everyone. So let's do a recap and I'm going to be done. Number one, it could be the wrong time to share your dream. Number two, people will try to talk you out of your dream. Number three, you'll try to prove to people that God told you what he told you, and you'll step outside and out of the timing of God. Number four, people will take your dream and your vision and try to make it their own. Number five, everyone is not mature enough to deal with your dream. Everyone can't see what you see. And so there's sometimes you've got to be patient and you've got to hold on and you've got to say to yourself, I can't share that right now. Sometimes you maybe only can share with your spouse. Maybe you can only share with those that you know are mature enough to handle it. But sometimes you can't share with everybody at one time. The Lord bless you and the Lord keep you. I pray that you are blessed tonight. Now let me say to those of you that are watching, especially those of you that are local, there's a tentative date for April 21st at 10 a.m. That's a Saturday, where I'm going to be doing live training and teaching on evangelism and on ministry. And you have to go register. If you check my website in a day, or check on it tomorrow at dlmartin.org and go there. The only thing you've got to do is you have to register. You must register. It's free of charge. There's not a charge on it. I'm not charging for this one-day training and teaching for April 21st at 10 a.m., especially those of you that are local here in Georgia, in the Atlanta area, College Park, East Point, Lithonia, wherever you're from. It's going to be free April 21st at 10 a.m. I'm going to be doing live training and teaching. It's going to be at Restoration, and it'll be free of charge. The only thing I ask is check the website tomorrow, dlmartin.org, and you have to register. The session is free, but the registration, you must register to attend. So if you do that, we'll make sure that we get information to you so you can be a part of that one-day teaching. That's when you get, sometimes on live, you don't get to ask the things you want, but those of you that would like to attend, and many have asked me if I would do this, if you would like to attend on April 21st, that's a Saturday, 10 a.m., I want you to go dlmartin.org. As a matter of fact, just check on it later tonight. I'm going to make sure it's set up, and so you can register for that one-day training and teaching, and there you'll get to ask some intimate questions, things that you might want to know and ask. We get to ask them in that session. So I want you to avail yourself and prepare yourselves for that. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much, those of you that have joined tonight. Thank you for your comments. I see you. God bless you. Yates and Bullock and see Smith. These are the last names I'm calling them, going through. Brown, Ware, is it Burnside, I think it is. And I see you, Wallace. I see Collins. I see those of you tonight. God bless you for being with me tonight. I want to. It is my endeavor to share with you on these Wednesday nights. This is not a tripping thing with me. This is not trying to see how many people are following, tripping out. No, I want to take whatever I've learned over these 42 years in ministry to help those that are coming behind, being on both sides of it, an evangelist, being a pastor, being a minister, being one that did not have a church for many, many years, that was an associate minister, one that was a help, that helped other ministries and to help build and uplift other ministries. I want to share with you, and I believe that that's what God wants us to do, to equip and empower those that are coming behind us, those that inspiring or expiring ministers to those of you, thank you, that you're trying your best, and somebody never sit down and told you some things. They've never shared some things with you. Sometimes people just say, go do it. And sometimes you make a lot of trial and error. But I want to make sure that if you're going to do it, at least you get a good start, a fresh start where you won't be making trial and error. At least somebody can tell you some things that happened to us and things that affected us. And so tonight, those of you that dreams and visions, I want you to hold on to them. I want you to do what you got to do, and the Lord will bless you, and I believe he's going to do great things. Now, don't forget, tonight, give it about 30 minutes. Go to dlmartin.org, register for April 21st. That's 10 a.m. That's on a Saturday. I would love to have you in the live training and teaching. Want you to be there. It's going to be a great, great time, and I want you to really do that, because I'm going to be sharing with you on it. Now, I normally don't do this, but those of you, there are many people say, well, Pastor Martin, we want to bless the work of the Lord. We want to bless your ministry. If you do, let me just give you this, that you can do it. Someone that's on here, if you can type this in, and those of you, if you want to do it, I would be appreciative to do it. Thank you. Others have done it, and I appreciate it. My Cash App, you can do a Cash App to me, is DL Martin. That's the cash sign, DL Martin. You can do that. And then you can do, there's a PayPal where you can PayPal me at D Martin SR. D Martin SR. You can do that for the, if you're doing by PayPal, PayPal me / D Martin, DMartin SR. Or you can go to our website, dlmartin.org, and be a blessing. And so, again, let me thank those of you that have shared with us tonight, that's been a part of this tonight. There's one of these Wednesday nights, I'm working on it. We're going to do some things where we'll do question and answer sessions, where we'll be able to do some things online for those of you that are out of state that can't get here. We'll do that. I've got something set up that I think is exciting, and I'll tell you more about it, where I've got a thing set where those of you that would like to have individual mentoring and sharing, where you can share with me for about 30 minutes to an hour. I'm going to tell you more about that. You can do it from wherever you are, and we can schedule the session, whether you're in Texas, California, wherever you may be. We'll be able to schedule it. You can sit in front of your computer, even on your phone, and we can dialogue and talk. It'll just be me and you, and we'll dialogue and talk, and we'll talk about some things and be a blessing. So I'll be sharing more about that with you coming up in the next couple of days. The Lord bless you tonight. Again, thank you so much for being a part of our session. Thank God for you. I praise God for you. We're getting ready to get out of here. We're getting ready to leave you. The blessing of the Lord be upon each and every one of you. Thank you so much for each and every one of you that have joined. Thank you, Periscope. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, dlmartin.org. Thank you, Facebook. God bless you until next Wednesday. I look forward to sharing with you again.